What's going on, guys? Welcome to another one of Black Iron's battles. Today we've got a Total War Warhammer 2 Rise of the Tomb Kings free-for-all battle for you. And this is using the most recent upgraded patch. And so this is actually the Steps of Isha. So this is one of those new maps. And it's actually the new free-for-all map. So if you take a look, it's actually the High Elves territory. And it is an awesome, I mean, look at that. We've got women holding, the moon above their heads. There's all sorts of super awesome buildings, and I mean there's just choke points galore. You see this, you're fighting in and amongst the high elf buildings, and it is just so awesome. So besides the map, you'll see that I am also playing with some of your favorite YouTube personalities. We've got Jon Taun from Total Brohammer, we've got DahvPlays, hashtag DahvPlays, and we've also got the Kielbasa King, that's Turin himself. So if you see, I've taken the Dark Elves, DahvPlays has taken the Empire, Turin has taken the High Elves, and Jon Taun has taken Chaos. So if you look up here, there's actually, you can tell by the color of their flag which one is which up here in the mini map, and also there's some pretty weird start positions. So if you see, I kind of started up here on top of this hill, and there's kind of it kind of slopes down over here, but it's pretty good. So over here on the left, you'll see I have my Dark Riders with repeater crossbows, and they're up against two groups of DahvPlays Pistoliers. Here for my main line, I've kind of got inside of these different avenues and streets. I've got some Blackheart Corsairs, some Dread Spears in front. I've also got some Blackguard of Naggarond and some Hargoneth Executioners. I just wanted a bunch of elite troops. We've also got Marathi up there, and we've got a good number of spells on her as well. If we take a look here, you'll see we actually have Pit of Shades, and we've also got Melcast Mystifying Miasma. She'll be anything around her. She'll be reducing melee defense and attack by 9. And besides that, she's also got the Enchanting Beauty, which is minus 9% melee attack there. So I think between the two of them, I think it's minus 18 melee attack around her at all times. So she's super hard to kill. Besides that, here in the back, we do have one group of Dark Shards just to get some armor piercing. And we've also got, over here, we've got our one Death Hag on foot. And I typically don't bring the Death Hag on foot, but I really was kind of low on funds because I went so elite with the army. And so you'll see there, she does have poison though, 70 melee attack, so she has some hits pretty easily, and that should be pretty good. Over here for DahvPlays, you'll see he does have 2 mortars besides those pistoliers. He's also got Volkmar the Grim here on his pimp chariot. Volkmar's got a couple of different spells here. He's got banishment. He's also got Grand Shield of Faith, so he's got that damage resistance. He's going to be just regenerating hit points, causing terror, all sorts of good stuff for him. Besides that, here in the back, you'll see he's got Zintler's Reiksguard. He's got a group of Empire Knights, and he's also got the Royal Outdwarf Griffites and a second group of Empire Knights. He's also got a Celestial Wizard here, so he's got a good amount of magic. And you see he's also got a Chain Lightning and a Wind Blast, so he's just got tons of damage spells, and I think he's hoping that those damage spells will kind of carry the day for him. Over here on the left flank, you'll see he's got 3 groups of Outriders, so he's got just tons of mobile cavalry. That's actually 5 groups of mobile cavalry. Over here for Turin's army, you'll see he's got these Valerian Reaver Archers. He's got 2 groups of those. He's also got a front line here of Spearmen with a couple of chevrons in them each. We've got a side over here, 2 more groups of Spearmen. And it looks like on this flank, he's got 1. So that's 5 groups of Spearmen. He's got 2 groups of Lothern Sea Guard, 2 groups of regular Archers, which I always like because you can put the regular Archers on skirmish mode and leave these guys so they'll back up. And these guys will take the hits. Turin's also got 2 of those Tyrannok chariots, and in the back he's got some Phoenix Guard. He's led by this this princess over here on top of just looks like a regular cavalry mount. And let's see here, we got Volley of High Arrows, Dragonhorn. So he's going for just that plus 10 reload skill. So he's hoping that he'll be able to buff up these archers and be able to do some good damage with that. Over here on the right flank, he's also got a High Mage up on a regular steed as well. And it looks like Starwood Staff. We've got Book of Hoth, so he's going to be doing some major damage with Arcane Unforging. He's got Tempest and Apotheosis, so heals and damage, heals and damage. All those spearmen should be able to hold, and that'll be pretty good. Here in the middle, those Valerian Reaver archers should be able to get him some good points. And last but not least, we've got Jon Taun from Total Brohammer, and Jon Taun is actually a really awesome player. I don't know if you know about him, but all three of these guys you should check out. I mean, everyone knows about Turin, but Jon Taun at Total Brohammer has a YouTube page as well, and so does DahvPlays. So if you guys haven't checked them out, please go ahead and I'll put their links down there in a pinned comment below. So for Jon Taun, he does have some Forsaken. He's got some of these Chaos Warriors with great weapons. You can look in here, and I just love the way these guys all look when they're mixed in there. They're just ready for action. We've got two groups of Chaos Warriors with great weapons. He's got some Marauders. Over on the left, second group of Marauders. So that's 3 total groups of Chaos Warriors with great weapons. And those guys, they do major armor piercing damage, so that'll be good. In the back, he's got some Forsaken, and with their speed, it's only 46, but they're a little bit faster than the rest of the units, and they've also got major damage, although they are kind of glass cannons, so we'll see. In the back there, oh man, that's some good stuff. He's got those Chaos Knights with lances. I love the way they look. And 120 armor, and those guys with that 80 charge bonus, as long as he keeps them moving, he'll be doing pretty good. Finally, he's got those Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes, and looks like 2 groups of Chaos Trolls. So Chaos Trolls, that's pretty cool. Let's take a look at those Chaos Trolls. You don't see them very often, and these guys are going to do some damage. They've got regeneration, so what typically happens is you get them in, you get some good charges, they'll rout off, and they'll come back like 3/4 health way later in the match. He's also got Kholek here, and pretty much the only thing he's brought on Kholek, it looks like, is Lord of the Storm. So he stripped him way down, and that's kind of allowed him to get a little bit more expensive units. He does have his Chaos Sorcerer of Shadows over here, which has the Penumbral Pendulum, as well as Enfeebling Foe. He's got a Forbidden Rod there, Melkoth Mystifying Miasma, so he'll be doing some good damage with those spells as well. So before we take too long, I mean, you know that we've already kind of got a little bit of engagement going on here with DahvPlays, and so it's pretty much what it's going to be is it's going to be one group against the other, and then we kind of meet in the middle. So when we get this started, first off, you'll see that I'm going to go ahead and pull my one group of Dark Riders out, and then we're going to kind of try to retreat with this second group of Dark Riders. Go ahead and take some shots with these repeater crossbows, and because these Pistoliers, I think that they'll pretty much take out my Dark Riders in I'm not 100% sure, but either way, we're going to use Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma. We're going to go ahead and get back out of there, and we're going to take some shots with these repeater crossbows. So if you look, this group of Pistoliers is already taking some good damage. So it's actually not too bad over there. But Dahv is actually going to, continue taking shots at Marathi. He's got almost this group of Dark Riders with repeater crossbows down. But luckily for me, I did slip this group of Dread Spears up in here, and so he's going to have to pull those Pistoliers away. Over here on the right flank, you'll see retreating up into the city is a bunch more of Dahv's Outriders. So once he starts shooting, he's going to be able to get some shots right in. Let's see if we can get in here. He'll be able to take shots right at this group of Dread Spears. And even though they do have silver shields, those shots will still do some good work. Over there on the left flank, you'll see the Pistoliers have actually been chased away. And there we go. There's the big shots coming in. I'm going to try to take a few shots with those Dark Shards, but at this point, we're taking some pretty good hits. At the same time, I do see those Empire Knights. We're going to use the Dark Riders with the Repeater Crossbows to get in there, and we've actually got our Spears coming right up in here, and we're going to get him surrounded on Volkmar. Volkmar with his charge out, oh man, watch this. So there was my big goal. I was trying to distract him. I'm able to actually get my Dark Riders right up in here, and we're able to get some major damage on top of these mortars over here. Unfortunately for me, he's got those Pistoliers in there. He is casting, he's got spells coming down on top of everything pretty much around here. And I'll actually get those Dark Riders routed off before I'm able to take out his mortars. Luckily for me, though, I do get a nice Pit of Shades here, and you'll see it coming off. And it is actually taking out that whole group of Empire Knights. So you see I'm almost halfway up on my Murderous Prowess, and we were actually pretty high up there in the in the score count. I'm actually right there in first place. Now, before we just show my battle over here, let's go ahead and watch what's happening with Turin and JonTaun. So if we look over here on the right, you can see that those Chaos Trolls tried to get in, but all of these Tirnoch Chariot and all of these archers are pretty much able to take them out without them doing any damage. JonTaun's still down here at 57, and Turin, the Kielbasa King, the Polish killer, is he's shooting at those Chaos Trolls, and he's already taken them out. So that was a good amount of points for JonTaun. Here in the middle, you'll see that some of DahvPlays Outriders are starting to engage it here into these groups of Chaos Knights with lances and these Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes. And JonTaun, it looks like, is trying to bring his armies around and try to kind of sandwich all of Turin's armies, which are in here. So let's go ahead and start that up. And you can see here that those Chaos Trolls are pretty much going to get routed off. I mean, there's only 4 models left, and even with their regeneration, I don't know that they can regenerate from getting killed so much. You'll see here these Chaos Warriors with great weapons are going to have to charge through Turin's Spearmen while taking fire from these Lothern Sea Guard and these groups of archers. So that's going to be some major work, and JonTaun, I'm not sure if his Chaos troops are going to be up to it. Let's go ahead and let's see this charge here. Oh man. And you see those Spearmen did try to get in there and charge as well. And those Chaos Warriors, oh, and there comes the counter charge from that High Mage. And those Chaos Warriors have taken some good hits. Over here on the left flank, though, I think that JonTaun is going to break through, because this is just a huge, nasty charge. He's got all these Forsaken, all these Marauder Horsemen over here, and then behind is a fresh group of Chaos Warriors with great weapons. Over here on my flank, you'll see we've finally gotten the Dark Riders routed off because JonTaun has engaged this whole group. He's got his Pistoliers, his Empire Knights, Zintler's Reichsguard. Everything is kind of engaged in here, and they've taken out a bunch of my Hargoneth Executioners. There is just a ton of damage, but luckily for me, I've got my Death Hag in here. She's going to do some good work, and I'm going to try to get her on top of Volkmar the Grim, and I'm able to pull Morathi out. At this point, it's super important that I try to kill all of these Empire Knights and really take down the Zintler's Reichsguard if I can. But you see, we're just going to put Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma, and we're gonna have our Death Hag in here. We're gonna have her fighting, oh man, up against Volkmar, and there comes in Morathi. And we were also able to get a huge Pit of Shades over here. So we're doing good damage to the Reichsguard, good damage to the Empire Knights. And that actually allows us to get in here and catch on to Volkmar the Grim pretty well as well. Over here on the other side, you'll see that since those Pistoliers kind of pulled off, we're able to get all of our units around the back end. And even though he's going to charge in here with those Pistoliers, we've got some Dread Spears and Black Ark Corsairs, which should help kind of finish that off. Look at that giant, that was a nasty spells getting dropped. And Dahv is just crushing me while I'm trying to get in here and deal with Morathi to pull her out of all of this cavalry. He's dropping a huge Chain Lightning, and you see watch Dahv's points just jumping up hundreds at a time. That Chain Lightning is falling, and it has almost completely killed this Blackguard of Nagron. That was one of my most elite units, and he has pretty much destroyed almost a full Blackguard, and the second one is getting wrecked too. I mean, look at that. They're about to rout off, and I've only got about half of the units remaining that I had. So Dahv is way up in points now because he's just done huge amounts of damage to me. Look at Morathi, he's almost dead as well. And we are having some major trouble up on the hill. At the same time, we have managed to get those Blackguard and Nagron here on top of those mortars. Volkmar the Grim's charging into the back of them, but with all of their NI large, he's not going to be able to fight there for too long on that big chariot. You'll see his health start to drop immediately. He'll see that these Dread Spears and Corsairs are coming back in. We've got some Dark Shards. Morathi's back up in the air. And we are actually almost routed off all of DahvPlays units. Over here on the right, let's see, JonTaun's got 5,600 points at this point, but he is all engaged. He has broken the square there. He's broken the cage. He's got all of his Forsaken kind of chasing down these archers over here, and you'll see Turin's got his princess in there and just charging right into the back of those Forsaken. He's also countercharging these Lothern Sea Guard to kind of get into the rear end, but at the same time he sees that those Chaos Marauders are coming, and you know that he does not want to take the damage from those. Over here on the left, you'll see that Dahv has actually got his Outriders here over on this pathway, and he's shooting right into the back of those Chaos Warriors with great weapons. So that is kind of like, there's battles going on all over. If you look at the top places, actually in the front, I've got 8,200 points. Turin's got 7,000, and JonTaun's got 6,700. So it is such a close battle right now, and there is a lot going on. Over here on the left, you'll see these archers are firing in. The Chaos Trolls are back. They've got some health remaining, but the big boy is Kholek Sun Eater right here. He is getting in there. That giant, you know, Dragon Ogre Shaggoth. Kholek will get in there and he'll crush that princess in melee. Besides that, you'll see all of these groups of Chaos Marauders. Oh, there was a huge Lord of the Storm that just slammed down right on top of those Phoenix Guard. And these DahvPlays Outriders are actually going to be cleaning up. Dahv is just shooting right into the back of those Phoenix Guard, but at the same time, here comes a big spell from Jon Taun, a Penumbral Pendulum, and it barely misses. And that at the same time, Jon Taun is doing pretty well. He's got all those Chaos Warriors remaining. He's got Kholek. And over here on the left flank, I'm having one hell of a time. I've managed to rout off those mortars, and I still do have some Blackguard Corsairs that are doing okay. If you look here, we've got a couple groups of Blackguard and Nagaron, and we're casting Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma on Volkmar the Grim, because all I want to do is get my Death Hag, and I want to get Morathi here, who is flying up and over those those buildings up there. Look at that. So we've got Deadly Onslaught applied, and we're going to be trying to kill Volkmar as soon as possible. You see Morathi comes in there for a dive. She's only got 300 health, but at the same time she's pretty quick, and since I'm able to get in the air, I'm willing to risk it. Look at that, 339 health still. Volkmar's turning around. Let's go ahead and get in there. Look at everyone charging on top of Volkmar. And Volkmar's got to get out of there. I mean, Morathi's still got 339. Volkmar wasn't able to hit. And Volkmar is actually down to like 1,000 health. He's still regenerating though, and we are chasing him. And at this point, this mortar is also a problem. Mortar comes back online, and Dahv has actually still got a bunch of units left. All of these Pistoliers over here have just been shooting into the back of all of everyone else's units. So it's keeping Dahv up ahead. It's such a close battle though at this point. You see his Celestial Wizards coming over here, charging in. Turin's got his High Mage there, charging around, and it is just, I mean, these fun streets in this new map on the Steps of Isha is just such a fun battle for free-for-all. If you look here, you can see all of these Pistoliers, or Outriders, sorry, they're just taking shots in here. They've actually managed to shatter these Chaos Warriors. This group of Chaos Warriors is shattered, and Dahv is just slowly moving in and cutting people down. Over here on this side, you'll see that we're trying to still get in here. I've got this Death Hag who's using Foe Seeker to use her speed, and Volkmar still has 600 health. He's pretty much reached his healing cap, and that Death Hag is just chasing him non-stop. At the same time, he's done a good amount of damage to my Blackguard and my Dread Spears. We've got a few Hargoneth Executioners, and over here on the back, you'll see that I did bring in Morathi, and I did use her to take out that mortar. So Dahv had gotten back on that mortar, and I did not want it to shoot into the back of my unit. So we were able to use Morathi, and we were able to get him in there. And at the same time, Dahv was actually, I think, able to get off one more spell, one more wind spell maybe. And I'm not sure if he's got it off yet, but he's trying to get one more off, I think, with this Celestial Wizard. We were able to kill Volkmar. You can see there's his chariot down there. We're going to come in here. The Death Hag is going to come in here and chase this Celestial Wizard. And at the same time, look at all those Pistoliers. These guys are not shielded. I mean, the Dread Spears are shielded, but the Blackguard are not shielded. The Hargoneths are not shielded. With their 100 armor, I mean, these Outriders, with their armor-piercing missiles, they're just cutting down my units. At the same time, I've kind of grouped up here, and I've got these Blackguard Corsairs in the back. But I've also got this second group of Hargoneth Executioners. So we've got them here in the back. They're pretty fresh. They're trying to kind of chase around some of Jon Taun's units over here. Because if you see, they've actually migrated from over here. We've came down the hill, and they've came around the back. And so there's just all sorts of trickery going on. There's huge damage that's happened. I've almost lost all of my Blackguard, but I still do have that one group. So I've got one group in the back here of Blackguard Corsairs. We're actually managing to try to get into these Outriders, but I'm having just such a hard time catching them. I'm tossing a few more Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma. You see up here, we've got Morathi kind of hiding in the areas where hopefully nobody can catch her. But at the same time, my Death Hag was just routed off by that Celestial Wizard. So even though the Outriders are almost out of ammunition, DahvPlays is in first place, 1100, and he's still got, besides those Outriders, he's still got the Celestial Wizard, and so he's got a pretty good chance of pulling the victory out on this one. At this point, I think I'm still got 9,000, but I'm not feeling too good. I've lost all my heroes pretty much at this point. You see, these units are pretty much not. I know they're never going to catch these Outriders. And over here, I just keep taking these heavy hits. You see, Jon Taun is coming in here with Kholek, and he has a huge Lord of the Storm on top of those Hargoneth Executioners. It cuts him right out. He's also cast Melkal's Mystifying Miasma there on Morathi, but he's only done about 80 hit points, I think, so it doesn't completely kill me. At the same time, we've got these Hargoneths and these Black Orc Corsairs trying to surround Kholek at this point. The Lothar and Seaguard are broken off, and there is just huge damage coming in. There is another Penumbral Pendulum from that Chaos Sorcerer. It looks like that was overcasted, and he took a little bit of damage himself. But JonTaun is actually climbing the ranks at this point as well. Turin doesn't have very much remaining. I think Turin may have his Lord over here. He does have that Princess still fighting against the Celestial Wizard and a group of Outriders. JonTaun's got 2 more group of Outriders over here. And you see down here, the Blackguard of Nagron are finally routed off. And I do not think they'll be coming back. So for me, the only units I really have remaining are Morathi up here in the top. I've got the Hargoneth Executioners and the group of Black Orc Corsairs. JonTaun's got over here, he's just got the Kholek as well as this Chaos Sorcerer of Shadows, which he's got. And then I believe that that Turin only has the Princess, and DahvPlays has those 3 groups of Outriders, and as well as that Celestial Wizard. So it has come down to just a few units for each person, and it's pretty much whoever pulls out the victory is going to win, because at this, it's a little bit hard for Turin at this point, but you get the 2,500 points for being the surviving player, and it is such a close battle at this point. You can see over here, you can see, let's slow it down just for 1 second, you can see that Big Papa Kholek is surrounded by these executioners, and he is just doing his worst to take him out. You'll see I was actually, DahvPlays is able to charge those Outriders in here, and I'm able to, and I try to sneak Morathi in there with Deadly Onslaught on, but he is able to quickly turn, and I think that's it for me. Morathi is finally caught. You saw she was running around for about 5 minutes like a crazy person. I'm trying to get out, but, and I actually am at this point. So look at that. We were able to break off those 2 groups of Outriders. The Hargoneth Executioners are still okay. I'm up to 10,000 points, and at this point, I'm thinking I'm going to have a good time. Big Papa Kholek's over here, and I'm trying to surround him with these Corsairs and the Executioners, as well as trying to rout off these Outriders with this last few Blackguard of Nagron. Look at that, 7 unit models are going to get in here, and I'm going to use my broken down Morathi with 200 hit points left to kind of chase those Outriders off. And here in the back, you'll see there is 1 group of Outriders left, as well as that Princess from Turin. So Turin's up to 8,600 health. I believe he killed that Celestial Wizard or took it off somewhere. I'm not 100% sure where it is, but you'll see that he is coming in with that Princess. Here in the back, we've got all of our units, and Kholek is just fighting. He is just smashing with that big hammer. And the problem is with Kholek with his 100 armor, and he just has 52 melee defense, it is going to be very, very difficult for me to get in and do some damage to him. Here in the back, you'll see that Turin was coming in with this Princess, but in my head, I was going to go ahead and take that Princess out. Morathi was going to stop, and I was going to get my Blackguard and Nagron in here, but boom, the Princess hacks down Morathi right in the back, takes 1 swipe of the sword, and just takes off. These few Blackguard and Nagron are going to get smacked. They're actually shaken, they're exhausted, wavering, and this Princess will take them out no problem. A few more kills for the Princess. That gives Turin 8,700. And actually, that last group of Outriders shattered for Dahv. So you see that he shatters 1,200. Dahv's on top. And all of my units are shattering as well. You see my Blackguard Corsairs are over here. Since I did lose Morathi, Blackguard Corsairs, Hargoneth Executioners routing, coming back. And it is just a final battle between that High Elf Princess, who I am amazed lasted to the end, and also Kholek. But you saw Big Papa Kholek has some heavy beaten sticks going on. There we go. That Princess is broken off. The Hargoneth Executioners, I've got them there in a oh man, look at them get sent flying. I think that was there's 1 remaining to swing his sword. The whole other group is in the back. Everyone's exhausted. Everyone's shaken. We've got 10,555 to 10,422 that Jon Taun has with Chaos. And Big Papa Kholek, there is nobody who's going to take him out. You see that Turin, I think, maybe still has a few more troops. He's got a couple of spearmen in the back here. But he actually finally just wavers and breaks. I've got 10,600. Jon Taun, 10,400. And you see here, he's got 1,900 health on Kholek. And that is pretty much going to be the end of it. We can take a look here. We'll just watch Kholek kill a few more guys for the last few seconds of the match. And that is it. That is just like one of the closest battles. I mean, it is just so much fun playing with all these really skilled players. It's just a blast to get into it. You saw how close it was there at the end. And actually, it looks like, you know, Jon Taun did pull out the victory. So that 2,500 points pushed him ahead. DahvPlays in second place with 12,000. I ended up in third place. So close, but yet so far away. 10,650. And Turin, the Kielbasa King, had a hard time there. I think he got sandwiched because DahvPlays was shooting at him with Outriders the whole time, and at the end he ended up with 8,860. It was such a close match, though. So much fun. Let's take a look at how everyone's armies did. First off, Jon Taun, the winner. And you'll see Kholek, 185. Of course, those big Lord of the Storms messed me up pretty good. 55 with the Chaos Sorcerer, but that Chaos Sorcerer put a lot of work in, did a huge amount of damage, and he just was dropping those Penumbral Pendulums all over the place. Lord of the Storm, Penumbral Pendulum, huge amounts of damage. As you saw, those Chaos Trolls didn't do too well for him, but it didn't really matter. He was able to get the Forsaken in there, hundreds of kills with the Forsaken, 91 with the Chaos Knights, and we didn't get to watch the whole thing, so you should probably check out those guys' channels, because they'll have, so Jon Taun was against Turin, and if you look here, you can see kind of what happened. 160 kills on the Phoenix Guard, so anything they got in the back, Turin was able to do, but his Chariots really did have a hard time, it looks like. 17 kills and only 12 for these Tyrannok Chariots, and besides that, these Illyrian Reaver Archers really didn't get too much in them either. The Spearmen did okay. It's just their job to kind of hold. You see that Princess was really awesome. You saw her fighting it till the very end. And the High Mage, of course, healing and just doing good work. At the same time, you know, I think it was just it was the Lothrian Sea Guard, all those archers. It's just like it's a very hard build if you get sandwiched. So there was a lot of streets to fight on, a lot of stuff like that. And I think that Jon Taun's army, with all of those trolls and those Chaos Knights of Fast Forsaken, I think they were kind of able to get in and compromise the backline of Turin's units there. Last but not least, we got Dahv here in second place, and Volkmar the Grim, 64 kills, and you saw that Celestial Wizard. I mean, those banishments and those chain lightnings were able just to rip my guys to shreds. If it hadn't been so much micro intensive, I probably could have straightened up my lines a little bit, but you know, they were able to really do some good work to me. Besides that, those Outriders and the Mortars, I mean, the Outriders were just a massive pain in the back end of Jon Taun and the Kielbasa King Turin over there. Those Pistoliers, we were able to take them out pretty early on the left, but we sacrificed most of our Dark Riders for that as well. So we traded back and forth. We were able to get the Outdorf Griffites and those Reichsguard, but not before they were able to get some good kills on us as well. And it was just a massive amount of damage with those Outriders, Volkmar, and the Celestial Wizard. Those were like the real stars of Dahv's team, and those ones are the ones that kind of really made it hard for me. So, like I was saying, the Dark Riders kind of sacrificed themselves for the Pistoliers, and you saw those Blackguard and Acheron just get shredded so many times. I mean, they got shredded by spells, they got shredded by mortar fire, they got shredded by Pistoliers and Outriders. I mean, I just could not get them in the right place. The same thing with the Hargoneth Executioners did a little bit better, but the Dark Shards, I mean, they got taken out so quickly by his cavalry that it just wasn't even funny. Luckily for me, I mean, Marathi was able to do really well. I was able to use her to get some good work done. The Death Hag as well was able to get a lot of hit point damage done on some heroes and stuff like that. And we were able to take those cavalry out no problem with our Dread Spears and some of our Corsairs. I mean, this group of Black Orc Corsairs, 73 kills. I mean, it was pretty much the hero of the day. You saw, though, the Hargoneth Executioners, they were able to get in there, but if I had that Blackguard and the Nagaron at the end instead of a group of Corsairs, it may have been a different ballgame. I may have been able to cut Big Papa Kholek down to size and carry that battle to victory. I mean, I think I would have had 13,100 had I won. So, you know, but either way, it was such a great game. So much fun playing with all these guys. Like I said, if you guys haven't done it before, go ahead and check out Jon Taun. His YouTube channel is Total Brohammer. DahvPlays, of course, hashtag DahvPaid, and the Kielbasa King Turin himself. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Please subscribe for more great online content. This is Black Iron, and this has been another one of Black Iron's battles.